What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. My name is Justin, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. We're back with another episode of Comic Collector Origins. I took a week off because I was over at a Comic-Con, Terrificon, actually. And that was a lot of fun, but of course I had to take a little, weekend getaway off to do that. So, wanted to take a little break, but I appreciate everybody who's kind of stuck with me here. As I take these little breaks from time to time for things like Comic-Cons, which, I got to go to a Comic-Con once in a while. But it was a lot of fun. The weekend was great. I'm still riding off that high of just hanging out and meeting the community, seeing everybody. It was just a blast, absolute blast. If you guys missed the recap that I did of Terrificon, I'll put the link in the description, but it's on my channel. Did a little, I think I talked about on Monday, hung out with PJ and a few other people. A lot of fun. So if you are new, or even if you're not new, we'll first take a moment, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you're not familiar with Comic Collector Origins, this show is all about the community. This is the opportunity where I get to not only talk with, but also get to really know and become truly good friends with people that I have here on as guests that I interview. So I asked them about their origin story, their background, how they got started in this comic book hobby, what their first appearance was at an LCS, or what their first appearance was at a Comic-Con, things like that. So, trying to learn more about just where people come from and how they get involved with such a great hobby such as this one. So I see we have people in the chat, which is awesome. We will definitely say hi in just a moment, but let me just introduce my guest first. I'm really excited to have this guy on because, we've been talking for a while now. He has certainly started to blow up just on in the community in general. We're starting to get to know a lot of different people over on Instagram. I think he hit like 1K recently, or he's on his way to doing so. He's also gotten a lot more involved in the YouTube community as well, which is something I love to see. People that are, taking the time to support others, and then also starting to do shows and, being on other people's panels and things like that is always just a great way to be able to get to know somebody more and more and see their personality. So it's a good friend of mine, somebody who's supported me now for a while. So I want to give a big shout out to my guest, Anthony, aka ComicsRGreat. Anthony, what is going on, my brother?
Yo, Justin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Great to be on your show. I know that we scheduled this a few months ago, so I'm glad that it's happened and that we're on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm going to apologize now. My two dogs are playing right now, and I have no control. I'm just going to let them do their thing. The one is very hyper at the moment. She's doing circles right now. So don't just bear with me. They're just excited. They're excited that you're here, Hey. So they're tearing up the couch. So all right. So I wanted to say thank you, Anthony, for coming on board. If anybody in the chat here, if you're not following Anthony, make sure you are. Put his information in the description below. And I want to say hi to the chat real quick before we get into things. Again, I apologize for the dogs. But we're keeping this live. We're doing it live, man. So
like some big dogs there, man.
Yeah, man. They're friendly. They're just having fun right now. Oh. That's why I got to keep the comic books up high. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh man. All right. Skylar, don't do that. Yeah. All right, let's say a quick hello. We got my man Wong, Wong, hanging out in the chat. What's going on, brother? Hey, now he says, good to see you. We got my girl Sheena in the house station. She says she's swinging by, but she'll catch up later. Appreciate you, Sheena. Thanks for stopping in. There's my buddy Jack screaming. Brandon in the house, Comics Kings going on. What's going on, brother? Hell yeah. We got Battle 66 Delta in the house. Hello. Battle 66 and X11 Bravo. I know we've been having issues with trying to get X11 Bravo in the chat. I can't see his chat for some reason, but I'm sure he's here with us. Either way, we've been trying to solve it. I don't know why, but he's not blocked or anything. I don't know. We've been trying to figure it out.
All over the place.
Yeah, he's great. And Battle 66, right? I appreciate you both hanging out here. Here it is. I can't use the X11 Bravo company. There you go. Because some reason. Exactly. I don't know why, but I appreciate you stopping in. Oh man, these dogs are gonna tear up this whole downstairs. Hey. My girlfriend's not home either, so
they want to be on the show, man.
I'm gonna hold the drink here for a second. This has never happened before. Bear with me.
Wow, this is no.
Skylar, hey.
We can't make this up here, man.
No. Just for you, Anthony, man. Just for you, We get the SpineTick crew hanging out here. I think that's Sith Lordly. What's going on, Sith? Good to see you, brother.
Yo, happy birthday, bro.
Is it today, his birthday?
I think so. Yeah, I see it all over Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, man, I got to catch up. Sith, happy birthday, brother. If I missed that, man, my fault. I'll reach out to you after this, man. Happy birthday, though, for sure. On a Saturday, that's perfect, man. Party up, man. Let's see. We got Jason claiming comics in the house. I can't even keep a straight face right now.
Sorry. Oh my God. This is funny, man.
Hold on here.
That's how we know this is live.
My God. All right. We got Ragin Cajun Comics in the house. What's going on, Ragin? He just started his own live show, I think, on Sundays. I saw he was doing something with Steve last week. So shout out to George. Yeah, man. Good stuff there. Let's see, getting through this. We've got my man Paul Morris in the house as well. What's going on, Paul? Got to hang out with him last weekend. We got Azor's Tiger, Eric, just talking with him over on Instagram. Let's see. So bad. I can't wait to watch this back later. Hey, let's see. We got Alonzo in the house from Team Nerd Herd, representing Team Nerd Herd. Alonzo, Comics and Pop.
Alonzo, looking forward to Monday, man.
Oh, you guys hanging out? Yeah, are you streaming or?
Fanime.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little later, but yeah,
man. Absolutely, for sure. Good stuff over there on the Team Nerd Herd crew.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Scrolling through here, the chat jumped on me. Sorry, guys. We got Joker in the house. What's going on, Joker? Got to catch up with Joker over the weekend for a little bit. I was just telling you backstage, Anthony.
What's up, Michael? How you doing, man?
Heck yeah. Let's see. We got Bloop in the house. What's going on, Bloop? That's one of my favorite names here on the YouTube channel. Bloop Comics. Just rolls off the tongue real well. My man Darth Timo, that's Ty. I got to meet Ty last weekend too, man. Good to see you, Darth Timo, hanging out with us. All right, I think I'm getting everybody. Yeah, I think I'm covering everybody. Oh, there's Big. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, Biggie's there.
Home of the New York Warriors. Love it. And Chop and Drop is in the house. What's going on, Chop and Drop? All right, guys. So like I said before, if you're not following Anthony, make sure you do so. I put his information in the description below. Make sure you smash that like button as well if you're hanging out here. And if you're catching the replay, thanks for doing that as well. I'm going to give one more shout to the dogs, and then we're going to just get started.
Dude, are you safe, man? Because all I hear is that.
I want to turn the camera around just to show you the mess right now. Because they have a bed, and hold on one second. Let me move the bed real quick. Hold on.
Dude, I've seen his show a number of times, and this is the first time that I've ever seen anything like this happen. I don't know if it's me or if it's cosmic coincidence, but this is hysterical here. Wow.
It is a day. They're still going at it.
It's a first.
Yeah. Hey. The one has zoomies. She has the zoomies, so she's running back and forth, and she's just super hyper.
Yeah, my dog does that once in a while.
You know how it's like, and it's like for a little spurt of time, but usually they calm down.
Just zooming back and forth.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. They just go sprinting.
Yeah,
and the other one's scared of her, so he hides behind me. But he also instigates it, so it's like. Anyways, we got the dogs taking over the show here. Comic collector dog origins.
Better than a chicken. Better than a chicken taking over the show.
That's probably very accurate. Yes.
And you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah. All right, Anthony. Let's kick this off. I want to ask you, and don't mind me if I mute this once in a while, because I want to let you talk.
I really understand.
Yeah. So tell me first, how did just killing me. The one has the other one pinned up against the wall right now. Hey. All right. We're dying. I feel lucky. Yeah. If you're a cat person. Yeah. I used to be a cat person. My girlfriend's allergic. But this is some serious bloopers right here. Got some people laughing though. That's good. Liz is going to love the replay. There you go. What's up, Dave? Dave collects is in the house. Dave, you haven't missed anything yet because we haven't really started yet because the dogs are just going nuts. All right, so
put a note on the beginning of the show. Please go fast forward to the first 10 and a half.
Yeah, I'll have to put that in the beginning there. Put it in the description, like please, unless you like dogs,
Yeah.
So Anthony, let me start off with you here. What is how old were you, and where did it all begin for you? What was your environment like growing up, or if it was recent, then it was recent. Like, just curious, like where you stand with the hobby. Like, how did it all kick off for you?
Well, I've always been a collector at heart. Ever since I was a kid. While I was into comics, like as a kid, back in the 70s, we had, all the cartoons, Thunder the Barbarian, the Herculoids, the Super Friends, the Shazam Isis Hour, that kind of thing. So I was always into that. At one point in time, I asked my mom to call me Captain Marvel because that was my favorite comic book character back then.
Nice.
Even though at the time I wasn't collecting comics, I was collecting baseball cards. I really love baseball cards, but at the time I was an only child, and Justin disappeared.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
Just dry you up.
You scared me there.
No.
But I loved baseball cards and just being able to organize them and everything. But once in a while, I would read a comic book. But I didn't. My mom would buy them for me on record. And the first one was a Batman and Robin one called "If Music Be the Food of Death." And that's how it was back then. You would have the comic book with a 45 record, and you would listen to it while reading it. So I mean, now they don't have that sort of thing, but they do have where you could follow comic books on YouTube, and some of them are played back to you,
right?
But back then it was by record, so that
it is a cool concept. I have seen a couple people stream those before too. It's pretty cool.
I mean, eventually I don't have it. Eventually I will like to get it again, just because that was my earliest memory of comic books, and it was great. And I always loved the sound of Batman and Robin, and that was, of course, like one of my favorite shows, Batman, with Burt Ward and Adam West, so it was great.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I love that it's like the shows are some of the stuff that can really pull somebody into, even now, I mean, with Marvel and DC, the stuff that's out right now, pulling young people or even older people into the hobby.
And what's funny is that how, back in the late 70s, early 80s, Batman was seen as silly, as, Batman got a little darker. But now with this nostalgia factor, Adam West and, everyone has their moments. And, comic books have been brought back, Batman 66 and you have Superman 78, so back then there was nothing like it, and then you had, of course, the Incredible Hulk show with Lou Ferrigno.
Big Lou.
So Wonder Woman and the $6 Million Man. So I've always been fascinated with that stuff. And while I've never collected comics, I was always into either the show or the cartoon versions of them.
Right. That's awesome. And so really, then you were collecting baseball. I mean, were you a big baseball fan then? I mean, I assume you're still a big baseball fan?
Yes. Yeah. I just have this is one of my original ones that I got, like a 79 Nolan Ryan.
Oh, nice.
Or let me see. Nolan Ryan was, well, he wasn't on my team, my favorite team. He was one of my favorite pitchers, or hold on a second here. Let me turn this off. Here we go. 70, like an 83 Ryan Sandberg for the Cubs.
Nice.
So stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it at the time, because I came from a divorced family, and my mom remarried, and up until I was about 10 years old, I was an only child. So I was always quiet, and I would always keep myself busy by reorganizing my cards, either by team or by color or by number, so I still have, I at one point I had about 20,000 cards. I gave most of them away, when the newer ones, because I knew they weren't going to be worth much, but I kept a lot of my older stuff. And I still do have them. I don't know what I'll do with them eventually, but
Damn.
I made a lot of them because I flipped them back then. Me and my friends would flip for cards, so a lot of them are damaged. The edges are all scruffed up and stuff.
Right. Just from passing around a lot.
If I knew then what I know now, that they would be worth a lot of money.
Right. I'll say you must have some gems still that you got.
The Nolan Ryan one I keep in a plastic case.
Yeah.
I have a couple of Ryan Sandberg. I do have some Nolan Ryans. I do have my pride and joy it's actually not even a baseball card, it's a football card. It's a 1981 Joe Montana rookie card.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Some football, man. That's dope, though. I mean, so it's always been in your blood, like the idea of collecting.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Keeping things. Yeah. I love that. I see a couple people in the chat here talking about some of the sports stuff. Today, Topps National Baseball Card Day. Oh, I didn't realize that. Go to any shop, get your free pack. Oh, hey. That's pretty cool.
I'm going to have to take advantage of that.
Yeah. I see my man Travis, TM Nerdy, Station brother. Thanks for stopping in. We also got Big Lion Cat in the house. What's going on, BLC? He said he's at work, but he's swinging by. Appreciate you, man. Battle 66 said, I still have a couple unopened football card packs from like 20 years ago. I just tossed them in my war trunk and forgot about the dude. I'm very curious. I mean, you never know. You could be sitting on some money, things like that. That's pretty cool. Hearing stories like that. So you didn't have like any, I mean, when you really started buying these comics and stuff, and like you said, you were buying some of the ones that you were able to listen to, stuff like that, like when did the actual craze like kick in where you were like, I want to start buying on a regular basis?
Okay. Now, as funny as it sounds, when I started collecting, someone was actually buying them for me. I attended church when I was a teenager, so about 15, 16, like high school age, where one of the youth leaders, the guy's name was Phil, really nice guy, and he bought me about 3 to 4 comic books a week. X Factor, X-Men, Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, and eventually, this led into the time period where you had Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, when they hit the scene, so you're talking about books eventually that were, now they're worth a lot of money.
Sure.
But back then I couldn't get enough of them. I did a lot of reading, and that's when I was making the transition from baseball cards to comic books.
Okay.
Because baseball cards, at one time, Topps was the only game in town, pretty much. Then you had Donruss and Fleer, and then Upper Deck came on the scene in '89, and then eventually it got out of control. You had subsets within subsets. It was no longer about the main set and everything. So I got really frustrated and disappointed. So I transitioned to comic books because back then a comic book was a comic book. That was it. You had direct and newsstand, nothing else. Not like you have today. You got tons of variant covers today. But back then, what you see was what you got, and that was it. There was nothing else, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
If you had one copy and you could talk to about it, that they have pretty much the exact same thing. It wasn't you didn't have to guess about the variant cover or the different cover artists.
Right. There's so many today.
Right. And back then it was more about the story pretty much than the artwork. When Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld took over, then it's flipped about the artwork.
Right.
Because wherever they went, that's where the masses went.
Yeah.
And I love like Jim Lee. Jim Lee, when he hit the scene in I think it was in '89 with Alpha Flight 51. I really loved his artwork, even though it was raw back then, and I didn't know that he really still didn't know how to draw as well as he does now.
Right.
But yeah, he got the job with Marvel, and I just love that he could draw anything great. McFarlane was good.
Yeah.
Liefeld was good, but Jim Lee was great. He could draw their characters, in my opinion, better than they could.
Sure.
And I followed them. So whatever books they went, like Jim Lee went from Uncanny to X-Men. Todd McFarlane got his own Spider-Man title, and of course, as we know, Rob Liefeld went from New Mutants to X-Force.
Right.
So, and when they jumped ship, I went with them along with everybody else. So, and at that time, that's when I was buying my own stuff. I became a collector, and I was at the time, because at the beginning I was living in the Bronx, but at the time of that transition, I moved with my parents to Queens.
Oh, okay.
And I've been in Queens, New York since then.
Oh, wow. That's well, I have to say, I mean, I feel like nowadays, even with when you were talking before about the different artists and what people jumping, based on specific artists, I feel like you still have that to some degree today. Only it's writers, or at least for me anyways. I feel like I'm jumping around based on wherever a writer goes. Like
Right.
I'm not just picking necessarily of a character. Like if I'm just reading Daredevil and that's it, like I'm jumping wherever, Tynan goes, or whatever the case may be.
And which is what today makes indies so great, because the writers have that freedom to jump from, Marvel to an indie company, and they can write, almost whatever they want, obviously with a reason.
Sure.
And the stories that they come up with are fantastic. And, the indie market is nothing like how it's ever been in the past.
Right.
And back then that's how it was for artists. I mean, artists, they're still limited by the number of pages they could do per month, which is at the most one book,
right?
Or, I mean, now you have cover artists, but writers now, some of them write 4 or 5 books a month. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but they do it, and they do it well. Yep.
Yeah, and then the other thing as you're talking about with artists is, I feel like now with the big rise in variants and stuff like that. I mean, the rise has been here for a while now, but but it's like, I mean, I know a lot of people who will just collect specific artists based on those variants or things like that too, which can kind of be someone's style as well. But it is interesting as you're talking about this stuff. It's interesting to see how things have really changed over the years and really changed. It's just such a difference. So like if anybody was collecting back in the day and then took a long break and then came back in now, it's like
it would be rough.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this. How did you transition into making like the Instagram, like coming on board with Instagram in terms of like the community, and what were you watching YouTube first, or did you stumble on Instagram first? Like where did you first find the community?
Okay. So essentially, I stopped working, not by choice and not by choice. My wife and I came to the decision that the way my health has been over the past, I would say 10 to 15 years, I've lost 4 very good jobs because of my health. And so we came to the decision that to have me apply for permanent disability, so that was about a year and a half ago. So I'm here at home just before the pandemic. And I was like, I have all this time on my hands. What do I do? So I just, I started watching YouTube. I started watching, Comic Tom. I started watching Gem Mint, and I started listening to their backstories, as far as how they started, and I noticed a trend for a number of them. They started on Instagram. So I figured, I contacted Gem Mint, and he was nice enough to write back to me right away, and he said essentially just to put your stuff out there, that's what he did, that he would just post his whatever he got on a weekly basis, and see how the community responds, and so that's what I started doing. And I started October of last year, and I figured I would reach maybe 100 followers in about 5 months, to be honest with you, because I didn't know how I was going to react.
Right.
Who no one knows me, so I'm a nobody.
I was gonna say, this wasn't like a personal thing either, right? You didn't invite like your family or
no. I did it on my own. I told nobody. I told maybe like or maybe like one or two people, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before I knew it, I had hit 100, 200, 300 followers. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool,
Yeah.
and then I love the interaction, and so I started getting more and more into YouTube, as far as finding out who is out there, like yourself,
Right.
Team Nerd Herd, SpineTicks, Aegeus Comics, and actually what's funny is that Aegeus Comics, well, I first, let me digress. I hit Pressable Defects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them for a while, and they led me through their links to Aegeus Comics, which is in Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Lou and Amy, right? Yeah,
yes.
they're great. Yeah.
So I looked on their page, and they said friends of the community, and I saw Home of the New York Warriors, and I was like, wait a minute. Well, I had no idea at the time that Pressable Defects was in New York. So I saw the New York Warriors. I wait a minute, there's a New York group. Let me check them out. So it's funny that I went from New York to Alaska back to New York.
Yeah, right.
So then I started watching, Big E's and company, and I liked the group. I liked the camaraderie, how free they were, laughing, and how they interacted with the chat and whatnot.
Yeah.
So then I just started. I couldn't get enough of YouTube. Just I guess being able to chat with everybody in the chat, because over here we're in the pandemic. I was at home just buying books by myself, sure. And I had no outlet.
Yeah.
So this gave me an outlet to at least chat with people around the United States, and not even just me, but everyone else has the same outlet now. And that's how, to me, YouTube has grown for us. I mean, because within the past year and a half, the comic book community has evolved. We're not the same as we were before the pandemic.
Right.
When the pandemic hit, all the comic book publishing companies took a 2-month break, if you remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now if it happens again, writers can write from home, artists can draw from home. Okay, we won't skip a beat. Right. And people can buy. We can talk to each other virtually, through the camera, as we are doing now.
Yeah.
Instagram. We have all kinds of social media. So it's a totally different world, and we're more connected now than we've ever been before.
I totally agree with all that. Yeah. I mean, even just like the fact that you and I are doing like what we're doing here, to really be able to get to know an individual like this, to the point where Anthony, I know we've already talked. This is not our first time hanging out, but right. Like if I ran into you at a bar or something, like I'm gonna come right up to you, be like, Anthony, dude, what's up, man? It's me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like if we've known each other for months,
right,
like personal
right.
level,
Totally.
It's great, and that's actually happened to me over at my LCS. I go to Royal Collectibles over in on Metropolitan Avenue, and over the past few weeks, I've gotten to know a guy. His name is Heroes Reborn. His name is John, and now before I would go in, I spend half hour, get my books, and leave. Now I'm spending 2-3 hours there, just chilling with the guy, and it's great.
I love it. Yeah.
Awesome. And he's been going there for years, but we've always passed each other by, and sometimes you keep to yourself,
right?
But because he saw me, he saw my channel, I've seen, and he came up to me, and we just hit it off.
Yep.
And that's how it is nowadays. You pass by someone else on the street, and you know them because you've seen them on YouTube, and you're more apt to say hello than to not say anything at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing too with YouTube, as opposed to Instagram, Instagram, you could technically hide behind the books. Like you don't need to necessarily show yourself, but YouTube, like if you're on YouTube, you're on, so people see your personality a little bit more, and they see how you carry yourself and
right.
and what makes you. So I feel like it's a little easier to gravitate towards somebody that you've been watching on YouTube for, weeks on end or months on end. It is to the point where you're like, I feel like I know this person, even if you never did talk with them before, you just watch.
Right. Well, the first number of months on Instagram, all I had was my icon, and it's still there.
Right.
But I pretty much hid behind it. No one exactly knew who I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't know my picture or anything, but now, with me being on YouTube and, bouncing around, on your channel, on Team Nerd Herd, home of the New York Warriors, now they see my face more,
Totally.
which to me is great, because I
Yeah.
definitely want to get to know more of the comic community better. And it's a great opportunity, to do that.
Yeah. You definitely become more approachable too. I feel like for anybody who maybe wanted to talk to you or get to know you, now they see your personality a little bit more. And now you're on shows like this where you're really opening up and sharing more about yourself, where it's like, oh, okay, this guy's really cool. Like you can take that
Right.
time, you're more approachable at that point. Hey, before we go any further, I want to say a quick hello. We have my man Donnie in the house, Mastodon Comics and Music. What's going on, Mastodon? We also had Phil, Comic Talks Weekly in the house. Happy Saturday. Joker saying NY Warriors. I know those guys. They're okay. Let's see.
Yeah, he's only the co-host. He just hides behind that East meets West.
Yeah, exactly. We got Comic Burrito in the house. My man Cole, who was just a guest recently on the show. Appreciate you stopping in. So very cool. I mean, it's like I said, it's great to kind of hear a little bit more. I'm always curious how people got into, the social media aspect of things, because even for myself, actually, now that I think about it, next week will be exactly 3 years for me getting on Instagram and actually being into comics. I just realized that. Yes, thanks, man. The 14th, August 14th was the day that I got back into it, or got into comics. So that's pretty wild. So I'm glad that you made this leap. You're on Instagram. You're putting yourself out there on YouTube, which is always great. I'm always encouraging other people to do the same thing, even if you're just posting a picture of you holding a book or something, just to put your face to a name is always nice to be able to do. So I wanted to ask you then, let's talk a little bit about some comic books. I know you read a lot of newer comic books in general, or I know you keep up with at least, a lot of the new releases and things like that. What could you name me a couple titles that you're reading right now?
It's funny, not as much as you think. Well, I may buy a lot. I really hadn't read as much, because for me, I'm a family guy first. I do spend a lot of time working on comic books and organizing them, but I also do spend a lot of time with my family. I'm been married for nearly 20 years, and I have a 12-year-old daughter, and they're both the pride and joy of my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. My wife was actually, because I've been in and out of comic books for 30 years roughly, and the last time that I actually made the plunge to come back in, it was because of my wife. We went to a doctor's appointment that she had, and it was right across the street from Royal Collectibles. And she knew that I had used to go there. And she was like, listen, instead of coming inside with me, why don't you, spend some time in the comic book shop? And I looked at her, I said, do you really want to open that door? Because you know where it could lead.
Right.
Like, no, it's okay. I know that you really love collecting it, and you haven't done it in a long time. And maybe it would be good for you to get back into it. So you have, to bring that fire, that passion back. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I went in, and that was it. The rest is history.
All downhill.
I mean, yeah, but the fact that she actually took me into consideration, and she knew what I liked, and what brought joy to me besides, my family, I really, really appreciate that about her. Not a lot of women would do that. It takes a special kind of wife or woman to do that for her man,
Yeah, absolutely. So, and by the way, you said Royal Collectibles. That's the one in Queens, right? Is that there?
Yes, they have two locations. Their primary one is in Queens, and well, they're both in Queens. One is in Metropolitan Avenue, in Forest Hills, and then the other one is Woodhaven, depending on the map.
Right.
And then they opened up another location just before the pandemic in Astoria, Queens.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's so. I buy from one of them. I think it's the one that they're like a corner shop. They're like on a corner.
Yes.
Literally, the door is like on a corner.
That's the one from. That's the one I go to.
Oh, that's the one you okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
they're great.
like 7 minutes away.
Oh yeah,
The owner Mike, he's
Mike. I
absolutely
just met Mike.
fantastic.
He was at Terrificon. I was just
Yeah, he
talking to him.
was. Yeah, I saw it. I heard that he was going over there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
very
he's
cool.
really fantastic.
Yeah.
There actually used to be a collectible / comic shop combined, but with both a number of years ago, with both industries really blowing up at the same time.
Right.
They opened up a few doors down. Their original shop, so like the collectible card shop went there, and the comic book shop stayed at the corner.
Okay.
And little by little, they've been taking over that block, and I've been joking with him. I said, one of these days, I'm going to come around. I'm going to see you guys own this whole side of the street.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Bob is a great guy too. I know he does the live streams on Wednesdays. They were my LCS during the pandemic because they were live every Wednesday.
They hung in there.
They have a great really good customer service too. Just really nice people.
Yes, you can email them. I know that a lot of times I drive Diane crazy, and Diane, I'm sorry. Please, sorry I do that to you.
Great.
Whereas they listen, can you hold this for me? Can you take this off my pull list? Can you have this? They
work with you though. They work with you.
Yes, they do, and the customer service, their prices are fantastic.
Agreed.
They work with you if a comic's damaged. They definitely go out of their way to switch it at no cost. So I've been with them for, I would say, roughly 10 years. And nice. I wouldn't have it any other way with them. They're definitely they're the best one in Queens, and I think probably one of the only ones in Queens other than Midtown, which they're in Astoria, and they only opened up a few months after Royal Collectibles opened up their Astoria location.
Right. Yeah, no, those are the only two that I really know of, and but yeah, Royal's been great. It's cool to catch up on Mike too. I see Ragin saying getting your wife to do that. That's a great lady. I saw here, wanted to highlight Contora says she's that kind of woman. I should know. She's my cousin.
Yes.
Assuming you got some family in the house right now.
I almost didn't recognize Contora. Yes, that's my bro. That's my brother Tony.
Cool.
He's really great. Him and I, that's her cousin by blood, but he's my brother. Him and I are great, man. There's nothing that him and I wouldn't do for each other or for our kids. So
that's what's up. Contora, welcome. Appreciate you stopping in here, man. Here you go. BLC saying the Royals on Broadway in Astoria is the other one. So yeah, I've never been to that one. I've never been to either one physically. I'd like to go there one day. When I do, Anthony, I'm definitely hitting you up, man, because we'll have to.
Absolutely, man. I've never been to the one in Astoria. I have heard that it's a little small, but it is nice in there.
Yeah.
But the one over where I'm at, like I said, I'm literally a hop, skip, and a jump away from there. So
very cool. Very cool. We got my man Steve Hip Hops and me in the house. I missed you earlier, Steve. What's going on, brother? Representing some more Team Nerd Herd podcast in the house. We also got my man Fable Station. Fable, good to see you, brother, from the Bad Batch crew.
One thing that and I really want to give Big E's a shout out. Home of the New York Warriors. That they invited me on the show, and he just kept inviting me. Yeah. And just they opened the door for me to as my first forte into YouTube. And I really do appreciate about them. They really didn't need to do that. And they made me feel at home. They joke with me, we laugh a lot. And Thorough, he's really been fantastic. But through them, I've gotten to know like you and Steve. From Team Nerd Herd. So it's really been a blast over the last couple of months, just being on YouTube with all you guys.
Hell yeah, man. It's cool that you were able to get on board. And like I said, I see you doing other shows now and teaming up with people, which is cool. And growing yourself over on Instagram. So, yeah, man. The community's great, man. The community's great. So what are some books right now that you are buying? If you're not reading them per se, but what are you picking up nowadays? Like a top 3 or 4.
Well, Something's Killing the Children. I mean, that one's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Department of Truth. Black Widow.
Oh, I heard Black Widow's really good. I
haven't been reading it. It's really good. Yeah, that one I've actually I caught up on my reading. That one I definitely recommend.
Okay.
Daredevil's another one.
Hell yeah.
Marco Cicchetto has been really killing it with the
Yes,
artwork. Even though the
agreed.
last issue was a different artist, but
They do that from time to time. I noticed that.
Yeah.
From time to time, they throughout this whole Daredevil run, there's been a couple little breaks here and there for Cicchetto.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's great.
Yeah, Cicchetto's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Another one. Obviously, I got the whole King in Black run. You know, even though it was, yeah, meow meow, yeah, Anthony Who. You know, even though it was delayed quite a bit.
Yeah.
The one that I'm definitely looking forward to the most is The Last Ronin with TMNT.
Oh, nice.
That fourth issue. Yeah, I'm looking forward to September. I hope it comes out the first week of September. You know, nice. I'm willing to do once every 3 months. You know, but I mean, it'd be nice if they stayed on point. I really did.
Yeah. I could see that.
There was a series a while back, I think around like 2005, 2006, called Justice that Alex Ross did. And I remember when they first announced it, they said that it was going to be every 2 months, that every issue, it was a 12-issue run. So this was going to take 2 years. And one thing I got to say about Alex Ross, he was on point. Yeah. They came out exactly every 2 months. He didn't miss a beat. Yeah. And I know that life can take a left turn sometimes, but it really would be nice if some of these writers and artists can get their stuff together and keep it so that we can, because sometimes when you have these delays, the fire goes out.
Sure.
You know, and
you lose interest or you forget about it.
Yeah. You know, so
new stuff comes along, you know.
If you say that you're going to make it every 2 months, the community will be there as long as you keep to that schedule.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, hopefully TMNT will be out, you know, with the next last Ronin for September 1st, I think it is. That's when issue 4 is going to come out.
Yeah.
You know, so I know that that's something that the community is really like. Whenever it comes out, it sells out. You know.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
The fire's there as long as the book's got to be there, though.
Right. Yeah. Supply us. You got to supply us. We got. I just want to say a quick hello to Voice Inject. What's going on, brother? We also got Brother Joe, Station Brother Joe. Thanks for stopping in. Anthony, do you have a couple books you want to show off here? Something that means something special to you?
Special, yes. One of them. This one was from, because I did sell my collection when I was 24. When my brother and I were moving out, but this was one of the very few books that I kept. Let me take it out of here so there's no
glare.
No glare.
Here, I'll blow you up here.
This one is, even though this wasn't worth anything until a couple years ago, that's Thor 390.
Oh yeah, nice.
Captain America lifts up Thor's hammer.
Yep.
I really love the storyline. The fact that they got him to lift it up. It was, you know, during a time where he was going through a lot. You know, he had to give up being Captain America, and Iron Man had kind of stabbed him in the back. So the fact that he was able to do it and it answered a lot of Thor's questions, you know, just by doing that alone, I thought was fantastic. You know, just the scene where he pulls it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And this cover, even though this book hopefully will be worth something one day, because obviously with the movies coming out, you never know when you're going to see the Masters of Evil, you know, but like the Avengers.
Oh.
Now, I like this issue. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, I like this issue because with this storyline, the Avengers really had their backs against the wall. All you had was the Wasp and Ant-Man. As for Captain America was captured, Jarvis had the crap beat out of him. You know, Thor was nowhere to be found. Captain Marvel, Photon, as she's known as now, was somewhere else in the country. You know, so it's just the two of them, and they had to fight the Absorbing Man and Titania, who essentially, you know, they were heavy hitters. They took on Thor and She-Hulk, you know, right. So, and they gathered themselves together, and you know, and they won. Obviously, they won, you know, but they, as you can see, they were in a pissed off mood. They really took exception to the fact of that they were attacked, you know, by the Masters of Evil. So I really do like that story, and just that picture, you know, that
Yeah.
Even though they're backs against the wall, watch out. They don't call them Avengers for nothing. So
Exactly. It would be cool to get some Masters of Evil on the big screen for the MCU. That would be interesting. I know they've had a lot of different story arcs and storylines in general, but yeah, it'd be cool to have that happen. Hey, you never know. Marvel's been killing it, man. Yeah, they've been doing some good things, so you never know what they could pull off. Very cool, man. I mean, those books definitely, especially the first one you showed, like I know that one has now become very well known, thanks to the movies and things like that. But definitely something I would say, to go back and read some of those issues. I need to go back and catch up on some of those Avenger issues, because some of that stuff's just classic stuff.
Especially now with Kang coming, and
yep.
And I was on my way to trying to get issues 264 to 269. Well, I'm gonna have to wait a bit because the value of those books shot through the roof, and
everything's spiking now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that happens. That happens from time to time, but you'll get it at the right moment. You got to be patient. This is definitely a patient type of hobby,
Well, there's that term that the community came up with, FOMO. FOMO's gotta wait till the right moment. Sometimes, you just can't jump. Because otherwise you're gonna be paying a lot more than
you'd be broke. Otherwise you'd be broke. Yeah, exactly. Well, before I get into some of the rapid questions with you, I do want to ask. We got my man Hood Rat in the house. What's going on, Ian? Station brother. Representing Team Nerd Herd as well. So before we get into the rapid questions, I do want to ask, I always talk about that there's new readers, new collectors always coming into this hobby, thanks to things like the shows, the movies that are out right now, all these different things that are pulling people in. It can be overwhelming, I think. I think for a lot of people, even if they're not necessarily new, but just starting up or whatever the case may be, it certainly can be overwhelming at times. Obviously, there's just so much to read, so much to know. But if you had a piece of advice that you could give to someone brand new, just getting into the hobby, what comes to mind to you? Is there any specific advice that you would give to somebody brand new?
I would say two things. One, collect what you like. Okay, and I know that what you like can be flexible at times,
Sure.
But that goes into number two, stick to your budget. Okay, because with comics, you can blow your budget very easily, because people can collect either by cover artists, interior artists, by writer, and if there's something that that maybe you miss, and the book shoots up to $50 or $100, wait a month, because just because it shoots up $50 in a week, it could come down very quickly, and be patient. Learn to be patient. It's because if not, you're gonna wind up owing a lot of money, because we're very quick to spend that, use that credit card, just be patient and do research, so that way what you like, whether it's by character, or by artist, and read, enjoy yourself. But with everything, enjoy yourself. If you don't have a good time collecting, you're gonna frustrate yourself, and you'll just
burn out.
You're gonna burn out fast. You have a miserable time in the hobby.
It's true.
But have a good time. Have a good time collecting.
Very true. I think people lose that fact, and that's one of the main reasons we're all in this, is because we want to have fun. It's for the stories. It's for how it makes us feel. It's for the nostalgic purposes, whatever it is, for you as an individual. But yes, it should make you feel good. And if you're not feeling good about it, it's like,
right.
Why are you doing this? Like, why are you?
I mean,
reevaluate.
Going just talking about this, I feel like a freaking fanboy, because I remember reading it for the first time, and it was a blast, and I couldn't wait for the next issue,
Yeah.
And that's what collecting comic books is all about. Nowadays, it's great to be a collector now, with the movies and the shows, and stuff being made on Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max. I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago that all this would have happened, no way. you know, because even with stuff happening with the Avengers in the movies, you know, it still hadn't accelerated to this. I mean, it was just, it's huge now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that Hollywood pours so much money into this because all the original stories now in here, a lot of stories in Hollywood have already been told. Comic book stories are, while they've been around for decades, to the rest of the world, they're fresh.
Yeah. They have not been told to as many people in that sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So while us as comic collectors, you know, we know those stories and we want to see them on the big screen. So we have no problems with that.
Right.
To the rest of the world, you know, it's fresh and new. So
I love it. I like BLC said, well, because to your points when you said, you know, collect what you like and have a budget. He said, I love everything. And what is a budget? Also, I saw Promiscuous Time Traveler hanging out. He said, yeah, you need to set rules, guidelines, boundaries, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, it's good. It's something to kind of keep yourself in check, because otherwise, like you said, Anthony, it is very easy to just pull a credit card out and let loose. You know, and
you know, you're spending $3,000-$4,000 a month, and then you wonder, where did it all go?
Where's all this debt coming from? Yeah.
I think Steve, man, collecting is dope, but it hurts the wallet. Yeah.
Totally, Steve. Totally. I love it, man. Anthony, I think those are some great points and some good things to kind of take away from whether you're new or you've been in this hobby for a while. I think you can take to those pieces of advice. So I appreciate you for throwing that out there. It's a segment on my show that I like to always bring up, because I think there's someone out there that could use it. You know, there's someone out there that needs to hear it, or you know, just trying to help somebody who's might be lurking or quieter, you know, and they don't want to necessarily ask the questions. So it's nice to you know, hear people put out some advice such as that. So I want to get into some rapid questions before we wrap up this show. And, you know, it's my favorite part. And, you know, it's not so rapid. Sometimes we take a little longer on them as we get in, you know, we go off on the deep end with some of the stuff we talk about. But before we get into all that, again, I want to remind everybody watching right now, or if you're watching the replay, to make sure you're following Anthony. I put his information in the description below. We got 19 people hanging out with us right now still. So appreciate all of you in the chat at the moment. Ragin says that's why Justin's wallet doesn't I think he's saying doesn't talk to me anymore. My wallet no longer looks at me anymore. That's been the ongoing. So Anthony, let's kick off a couple rapid questions, and I'm going to start it off with if you had to choose just one character of all time, well, who is your favorite character, comic book character?
Oh man, it would have to be Wolverine.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Well, it's a tie. It's actually a tie between Wolverine and the Flash. Okay.
Really? Okay. All right.
With all the health problems that I've had, you know, Wolverine has the healing factor. I mean, I wish I had that. Yeah. You know, to be able to do that, and then, you know, with that healing factor, he's able to live, you know, like 100, 200, maybe even 300 years. You know, it depends on who writes him. Right. While with the Flash, you know, when I was a kid, I was fast. I was one of the fastest kids in my neighborhood, you know. So between the speed and the Flash's healing factor, well, not as fast as Wolverine's, but he heals pretty fast, and he does everything fast. He's only limited if he has to use an outside tool like a computer or a drill or something, you know. Right. But I've always loved the Flash, you know. If you ask me which one, Barry Allen. Barry Allen to me was the best. You know, Wally West is great, don't get me wrong, but I love Barry Allen. He's the ultimate speedster.
Damn. Well, there you go. There you go. Ragin says two good ones for sure. Azor is saying Wolverine all day. BLC, I'm the Flash when I go to the bathroom.
So is everybody else. When nature calls, everyone's the Flash.
Contora says Wolverine because he's badass and short.
Yeah, only because Contora, he's not. I mean, he's a decent height, but not that tall.
I like he also said here. He said new comics or clean laundry decisions. Right? Hey, you know, it's like we got to prioritize, and sometimes comics gets in the way of that, unfortunately.
Oh, clean laundry, yeah, man.
Yeah. BLC says when Justin opens his wallet, there's cobwebs. Yep, cobwebs and butterflies floating out of it.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll go with those two. Let me ask you this, because I sometimes I like to know this answer as well. Who is your favorite villain of all times?
Oh wow, that one I've never thought about. It would have to be, to me, it would have to be the Joker. And I mean, I do like Batman from DC, you know, but it would have to be the Joker, because the Joker, he's the most creative, one of the most creative and smartest villains I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, you got your Lex Luthor, who's brilliant, but you know, but with Joker, you know, Joker wants to kill you with a smile on your face. You know, I mean,
yep, and he makes no sense sometimes. He's just doing it. He's entertainment. He's doing it to have fun.
Like, you know, and like Lex Luthor wants to kill Superman.
Yeah.
Joker doesn't want to kill Batman.
No, he loves him.
Oh, he wants to torture him.
Right,
you know,
right.
for as long as he could, and that's how he gets it, that insane pleasure from it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I'm sure you've seen it. You know, like Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. You know, the fact that he did that, and you know that he came back in someone else's body. I mean, that's genius and insanity put together. You know, and you just can't make that up. You know, right. So yeah, to me, Joker would have to be the best one.
I love it, man. I'm with you there. He's definitely up there for me. Travis is saying Lex Luthor for him. Promiscuous Time Traveler says the Skrulls. That's a good choice too.
That is a good choice.
Haven't considered that one. We got my man Empire Comics in the house. What's going on, brother? Station. Good vibes your way as well. Hope you're doing good on this Saturday. Let's see. Travis says the Joker is low key in love with Batman. Yeah, I mean, one could call it that.
What's funny is like, you know, like on Justice League, how many times has the Joker popped up out of nowhere and everyone is like, just stay the hell away from me, because they know that he just brings total chaos whenever he shows up.
Yep, you never know what's going to happen, who he's after, or what the case may be. Dude, BLC's been killing it in the chat here. He says, my villain is my mother-in-law.
That's messed up, bro. That is really messed up.
Big Lion Cat is on fire in the chat right now. Kansara says, Magneto.
Oh, Magneto's another one, yeah.
And Apocalypse. Classic Magneto and Apocalypse. Yeah,
I'm out really working.
yeah, right. If this is him working, then I want that job, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's mix it up here a little bit. What's if you could have one superpower, what would that be?
Me? Probably super speed.
So I was wondering where you were going, because I know you were talking about the healing factor,
right?
But also the Flash's abilities too. Right. It's a little, you know, I was wondering if you were torn on that.
Like with the super speed, you know, you could regenerate. You could, I'm not exactly regenerate, but you could heal yourself, you know, faster. Yeah, you get to places faster. You know, the time is on your side. You know, you could travel across the world in a split second. You know, so
go on a nice vacation whenever you want.
Exactly. You don't need to take an airplane, you know?
Right. I love it. What was the last comic book that you've read?
The last one?
Yeah.
Let me see. Literally was
check the stack.
Yeah. I think it was Black Widow.
The new one?
I went through. There was a time that I used to read comic books consistently, and then I eventually stopped. But this past week, because I was doing my second haul video, and I was, you know, I wanted to really talk about some of the books. So I spent yesterday reading the books that I got last week, you know, so it was just great just to be able to sit down and do that again. Yeah. You know, so I think I read something like 24 books.
Nice.
You know, so it's
always a good day.
Yes. You know, so like, you know, like Black Widow, let me see, Dark Blood, Daredevil, Checkmate, Chariot. Chariot I thought was really good. Robin.
I didn't finish Chariot yet. I love the first couple of issues. I just haven't caught up. Yeah. I know they're done now, and I know it got optioned or something like that. So I'm really excited for them. Yeah, congrats to Brian Edward Hill and Priscilla portrays. She's great. The artwork in that is just stunning.
But Robin was also fantastic. Even though it's up to issue 4, Francis Manipool covers have been awesome.
100%. I can't help but buy them. They're part of my top. When they come out, I got to put them as one of my 3. You know, I'm buying like 3 comics each week now.
Most of the time when I buy a comic, I try to buy only one cover. But with Robin, I buy both.
Gotta get them both.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, they're gorgeous. They really are. Francis Manipool. He's someone much newer. I know he's done stuff before, but I'm just discovering him. So I'm like, now I need more. I totally hear you there. Big Lion Cat says, my power is a powerful cat gas, so I can get in front of the line at the comic book store.
Let me tell you something. This guy. I don't know if you watch us on Coffee with Comics. He's quiet. He's really quiet. Okay?
Dude, he's killing it here.
Yes, he is, man. He really.
I love it. All right, so since you're an X-Men guy, I got to ask you, if you had to choose one, do you prefer the original X-Men team or the new Claremont X-Men team?
Claremont, all the way.
Yes.
All the way.
Hell yeah. I'm with you, brother.
Just it brought variety.
Yeah.
And I'm not even just talking about like on a national scale, but with their powers, height, male, female,
Yeah.
And then of course it brought us Wolverine is like he's the best X-Men. Well, he's the best at what he is and what he does, and even though what he does isn't always very nice.
Right. 100%, man. I love it. Let's see. I love this question. What if you could go back in time, like literal time travel, and buy one comic book off the shelf at cover price, and this one book you can't sell it. It'd be a book you have to keep, you have to take to the grave with you. What is that one comic book that you would go back in time and buy for cover price?
Can I pick 2?
Nope.
One?
We'll give you an A and B. Go ahead.
Okay. A would be Giant Size X-Men #1. B would be Incredible Hulk #181.
181. Okay, so Giant Size X-Men 1 is the top of the list, though.
Yes, it is.
Love it.
That I would that would be that one. I would never sell it.
Such an epic, yeah.
Yes.
That's how I feel, man. Very cool. And of course, yes, 181 certainly up there for sure. Another iconic book right there. Let's see. What about I gotta ask you about comic when it comes to comic book based films. What is your favorite comic book based movie or film?
Captain America: Civil War.
Oh hell yeah, man! Me too, man. That's my favorite.
Yes,
out of all of them, hell yeah.
I love Endgame. Endgame has really become a classic for me, and I love the first Iron Man movie. Because that's the one that started it all.
That's the top 3 for me. Yeah.
Yes. But Captain America: Civil War, one because the Civil War storyline, the original storyline, I thought was great. And then how they put it together, how they changed it for the movies, and how they had the iconic scene with Iron Man and Captain America, against each other. It is absolutely fantastic. And that they did such a great job with it. It was more than a home run. I mean, this thing was great. And it's a shame that it was called Captain America, because essentially could have been an Avengers film. Like they could have titled it Avengers. Yeah. And the fact that they introduced the Black Panther, they introduced Spider-Man, it's such an important film, and it was great. It really was,
Yeah. Agreed. And that was a movie that I did not take time to watch the trailer when it came out. So I didn't know what to expect. Like I was in the blind. I mean, I never read the comics. I kind of got an idea of what Civil War was about. The idea that kind of people are going against each other that are normally teammates. But I didn't know who was involved. I didn't know who they were going to choose to be involved. So for me, when I saw Black Panther come out of nowhere in the theater, I was like freaking out. Like what? Like it was total. I mean, at that point, because I wasn't even reading comics at that time. I just remember. Yeah, no, I wasn't. I only got into comics 3 years ago. That was never got into comics before that. So for me, that was just like, what? Like this dude is in here. Like I, didn't even know, that he was going to show up or anything. Like I didn't know what to expect. So it was really cool to just, have that surprise. So I love that that's at the top of your list, man, because that definitely is.
Oh yeah, I could watch that. I could watch that one day in and day out.
Yep. Hell yeah.
I think, because one, it brought it into the Winter Soldier story.
Yep. That's another one I really like too, the Winter Soldier.
It brought us Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Spider-Man, Tom Holland for Spider-Man.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's become an instant classic.
100%.
And the fact that, because how a lot of times when movies or shows are announced and they announce a storyline, and if it's a classic comic book storyline like Civil War, you always wonder what is going to be different about it, and could they ruin it?
Right.
Because there are a lot of times that, it doesn't live up to expectations, that the comic book storyline is actually much better than what they put in the movie.
Right.
In this case, it exceeded it.
Yep.
It exceeded it by leaps and bounds. And it was accessible to the public as well as to the comic community, and
yeah, anybody could get into it.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's important. I mean, that definitely, that was entertaining across the board. So
and
I think you're right about that.
Made you want to look forward to Black Panther as well as the Avengers Infinity War, because you knew that they eventually, if they broke up, how were they going to get everyone back together? Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, we got my man Hyper in the chat. What's going on, Hyper Combo? Good to see you, bro. Let's see. I saw something in the chat before. Oh, Phil was saying, when I imagine going back in time to get that book, it also involves having to hide somewhere safe. Yeah. I like that promiscuous time travel. It was like, oh, time travel, you say? He said that earlier. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We got 20 people still hanging with us. Anthony, I have a couple of non-comic book related questions for you.
Sure.
So let's kick it off first with some sports. Where do you stand with sports? What's your if you're a sports guy, what's your favorite sport and who's your favorite team?
Currently, my favorite sport is basketball. It used to be baseball. But baseball to me has gotten a little slower. While basketball is pretty action packed. It's nonstop. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I love the Knicks. I know they're getting better. They're getting better slowly but surely. And I also like the Golden State Warriors. But my first team is the Knicks, and I'm a New York guy at heart.
Love it. Is that a Knicks hat you're wearing right there?
Yeah, this gold one. They don't make this one anymore. But
nice.
Yeah, no, definitely a Knicks fan.
Love it. What about for music? Where do you stand with music? What's your favorite genre or genres of music? And are you listening to any specific artist or band that you like?
I love contemporary Christian music.
Nice.
I like the message that a lot of the lyrics portray. With secular music, I do like some pop, some alternative rock.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more than just a beat. The words have a lot to do with it. And unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of the music out there isn't exactly great.
Sure.
So I do tend to I'll put on instead of listening to the radio, I connect it to my phone through Bluetooth, put YouTube music on, and I'll just put contemporary Christian music, and a lot of it is upbeat. I do like upbeat. While worship music is great, but I need to keep myself going. I need to stay.
Yeah, you need the energy too. So yeah.
And the beat for a lot of these contemporary Christian songs is great. And like I said, the message is positive. Even though I forgot, I heard someone on the radio, they called it. They don't call it contemporary Christian music. They call it like music with a positive message, something like that. I forgot what the term was, and I was like, "Are you gotta be kidding me?" But yeah, no. My memory doesn't exactly work as well as it used to, but I like Toby Mac, Matthew West, Jeremy Camp, Big Daddy Weave.
Mm.
You know, so like names like that, they're not exactly, they do their own version of contemporary Christian pop. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah. I know a lot of those names you said because I used to work in a CD store back when I was
really,
10 plus years. I used to work at an FYE. If you remember
yes,
those
I do
stores.
remember. Yes,
Yeah, most of them are closed down now, but
yeah, I know. They used to have one over at 14th Street Union Square in Manhattan.
oh yeah, yep. I went to school down there, by the way, 14th Street.
Oh, really?
I went to school for audio, the Institute of Audio Research.
Yes, I've heard of that school.
I
Oh,
went there
nice.
for a year. Yeah. I loved it down there. 14th Street was like I could stay down there, hang out, like just yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, it's such a busy area, man, and there's
Yep.
so much to do down there.
Yep. I love the artists and like you got guys playing chess and stuff. Like I just love that whole
Yeah,
vibe. You could just hang out there. I mean, you really
exactly.
could.
Yeah, man. And then I think for oh man, what's the name of that comic shop? Forbidden Planet.
Oh yes,
Forbidden
yeah.
Planet around there.
So I didn't realize that they were there because I wasn't into comics at that time. But
Right,
like
right,
I heard
yeah.
of them later, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't realize they're there. BLC, he says he has a FYE in PA. I know there's still some FYEs around.
Yeah.
Um,
And I actually used to work like at 8th Street at the like a number of years ago.
Oh,
wow. So yeah, probably around the same time.
Small world, man. I bet you I passed you, man, at some point.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's funny, man. Hey, we got John Stout in the house. What's going on, John? Good to see you, brother. BLC said that Anthony's favorite sport is table tennis. Boom. There you go.
There was a time I used to play quite a bit of ping pong. Not as good as like some of these guys, like the Chinese, that they're insane, man. But
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Not that Forrest Gump level, but yeah.
No, no, man.
I love it. Let's see. Want to switch it up? If you could go on vacation anywhere, paid, it was free for a week. You and your family go wherever you want in a safe, non-pandemic environment. Where would you? What's the number one place you want to travel to?
Number one, Hawaii.
Oh, nice. You ever been there or no?
Yes,
you have. Nice.
When I was 25. At the time, one of my cousins was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
So my grandmother paid for myself, 3 of my sisters, one of my cousins, and my aunt. And all of us went down there on her dime. She paid for the flight, she paid for the hotel.
Yeah.
And it was great, and when you're 25, you're not exactly looking at scenery too much, but it made such an impression on me. And I definitely would want to go back.
Yeah.
Another place I would love to visit again is Aruba. I went to Aruba when I was 11. Now, 11-year-old, again, even more so, you're not looking at scenery or anything.
Right.
But I remember a lot of things that I saw, and I definitely would want to go back. It was such a beautiful island.
Yeah.
And just to relax and go there, like I said, first choice is Hawaii. Don't know if my wife is ready to go on a plane for 12 hours.
Right. It's a lot. Right.
But Aruba's a little closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would definitely be it.
Very cool. Hawaii is on my list for sure. That's something that I've never been to, but I want to.
If you can, I highly recommend it, man. It's definitely worth the trip. Give yourself at least 10 days, because that time difference will hit you.
Yeah.
It'll hit you.
You can't just go for a quick weekend trip or anything like that.
Oh, heck no, man. You got to have a body built of stone, man, because that, like I said, that time difference. For me, it takes a couple of days, and then because your body's still used to the time zone that you're from.
So you're up at you're awake at night then, and you're sleeping during the day essentially, right? Until you get used to it.
Well, because from the East Coast, the time difference it was about 6 hours.
Right.
So
oh yeah.
When I first got there, I think I was up for like 39 out of the first 44 hours. And it hit me. Yeah. Because I couldn't sleep the first night, and
right.
So I was up, and then I was the main driver. So, and eventually the second night I passed out.
Yeah.
I slept for about a solid 10 hours. And after that, I was fine.
Yeah.
So, but
you just needed that first, get collected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, PLC's Hawaii is his goal. Ragin said he loved Aruba. My first trip out of the country besides Mexico. That's really cool.
As much as I would love to go to Mexico, the way it is now, it's really almost turned into like the Wild West out there. I'd be kind of scared to go to Mexico.
Yeah. It's not really at the top of my list anymore. I mean, there's certainly other places I think I'd just rather go to at this time, anyways. Ragin says 7-day minimum. If you go to, I think he's talking about Aruba, but either way, there or
Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah. Good stuff there. Any cool celebrity moments that come to mind?
Oh, for me?
Yeah, you ever run into anybody
I've never had good. Actually, no. I'm sorry. There is one.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I'm trying to think. The guy from the Flash, the one who plays Joe West. I can't think of his name. But he was on Law and Order when it first started. Okay.
Right.
So at the time, I was working at a consulting firm. I was at, because I used to do IT work. So I was at Chelsea Piers, and they were actually filming the scene that would become pretty well known, where him and the other guy, I can't think of his name either, where they grab a guy, they throw him up against the fence, and I got to watch the scene there. And he actually let me take a picture of him, and he gave me a photo that they had on the side.
Oh, nice.
He signed it, and I gave it to my stepfather, because at the time my stepfather really loved that show and loved him as a black actor, so that was the only time I've ever met anyone famous,
like a celebrity. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. That totally counts, man.
But
yeah, you never know sometimes.
Other than Jim Lee, and that was only like for 2 seconds. Signing at Midtown Comics.
Yeah. Do you go to Midtown often? Like, is that other than Royal? Like, do you pop in there at all, or not really?
No. I used to work there. They have a warehouse in Long Island. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
The discount on the comics was great, and that's probably the only thing that was great about it. The store itself is, they have a lot of stuff. They do have a lot of sales. And it's a great shop overall. So I'll give them that.
Yeah,
but they're worth visiting. The Times Square location, they've been around for years.
Yeah.
And they're top notch.
It's definitely like iconic in that sense. If you're visiting, I think it's worth checking out that experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you're not buying much, I know they have a ton of new comics. I like them for their new stuff. I don't. I feel like I've tried to do some, digging in their back issue bins, but they're not necessarily the best back issue bins, at least from what I remember. But they definitely have a nice, selection if you're looking for new stuff, for sure.
I remember when the stuff would come in on Fridays, they would get so many boxes, man.
Oh, I bet.
I worked in the back issue department.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys, they would be. I never knew that, like, how many covers, essentially 300 issues a week, essentially, would be coming in. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
because they had that. They're selling stuff online, so they're like, they got to have that inventory, right? It's just like,
plus, when Marvel and DC, like, if people subscribe directly to Marvel or DC, it actually goes through Midtown. It doesn't go through Marvel or DC. The orders come to them, so they have that relationship, and they're constantly shipping stuff out.
Yeah,
I mean, the way they ship stuff out is great. It's just other stuff.
Gotcha. I hear you. I see. Tino said you guys mentioned Forbidden Planet. Rihanna and ASAP Rocky were there last week. She bought some toys there.
Cool. Yeah. Forbidden Planet's known all over. I think because they have a store in Europe also, I believe.
Oh wow, okay. I feel like they have a pretty decent what do you call it, like social media presence as well. Right. I feel like they do some stuff there too.
I remember when they used to be over on, I think it was 59th Street in Manhattan before they moved to 12th Street.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize that they weren't on 12th Street before, or that they were.
Yeah. Oh no,
59.
believe me, dude, I'm an old man.
No, it's cool though. It's cool. It's cool to know. Like it's some of these shops they've been they jump from location to location.
Yeah.
Very cool. I have one more question for you in terms of this rapid stuff here, and it's one I always like to kind of end the note on. But I'm going to ask you about food here. So if you have, it's you and the family. It's Friday night. You get to. It's your choice. You order out, or you go out to eat, or buy whatever you want. You cook whatever you want. What is your go-to meal for yourself if you had that choice?
I promised my wife I would not say answer in the back of my mind because but I'm not doing this. One of what's become one of my favorite Chinese food places is Panda Express.
Okay.
I love their orange chicken and the teriyaki chicken.
Nice.
Like something either along those lines, or if we were going to step out, I would definitely want to go to TGI Fridays.
Nice.
That's one of the favorite hot spots.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what was the other one. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know my daughter's been wanting to take me for me to go to Chick-fil-A. I've never had the pleasure of going to Chick-fil-A, but I've heard that their food is great.
Oh, really? You've never had Chick-fil-A?
I've never had Chick-fil-A.
Wow. Okay. I thought I was the only one on the planet for a while. I just had it. I just had it like a year ago, or maybe a year, and I guess like 2 years. It was right before the pandemic. I think it was one of my first times ever having Chick-fil-A. It was okay. I mean, I'm maybe a bit of a pickier eater than others.
Right.
But,
No, I love meat. I love a really good steak.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Dude,
I'm with you there, man. For sure. I like cooking them. I like putting them on the grill.
Yes.
I like having control of that.
Yeah, so do I.
Make it how I want. Yeah.
I like to have it. My favorite tends to be more either medium or medium rare. I like having a really, really juicy. I don't like it well because sometimes it comes out dry.
Yeah.
But a good juicy steak, with some arroz con habichuela, or arroz con maíz, that'll hit the spot.
I love it. I'll go with a rare, medium rare. I don't mind a little bloody. Ragin says In-N-Out. That In-N-Out's pretty good. You ever have In-N-Out on the West Coast?
No, because they don't.
Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, In-N-Out burger is I'm trying to think like what the equivalent would be. I guess maybe like Five Guys here.
I have Five Guys. Five Guys is pretty good.
It's kind of like it's better than Five Guys though. It's like I'm trying to think what else. We have something else. Oh, it's kind of like you ever have Shake Shack here?
Yes.
They kind of because they also have like milkshakes and stuff like that too. But
right.
the food at Shake Shack kind of reminds me of In-N-Out. Only In-N-Out's probably even better. I don't know if they sprinkle crack in it or what they do, but yeah, it's really good over there. So if you ever next time you get out to the West Coast, grab some In-N-Out.
Right.
It's really good stuff. So these are the questions I had for you, Anthony. Dude, I can't thank you enough for just taking some time to be on here. Sorry about the dog charade earlier.
Dude, that was hysterical, man.
We were on the fly, that, man.
It was my pleasure. I mean, I gotta be honest. When you first asked me a couple of months ago, I felt I'm nobody. I have nothing to offer, But
man.
But between then and now, between like I said, Big E's and Steve and Thoro, you guys have really allowed me to, put myself out there on YouTube, and it's been great meeting everyone. And I look forward to meeting some of the other guys, especially like Approachable Defects, or Aegis Comics, or Gem Mint, Comics Bueller. I mean, there's so many great YouTubers out there, and I look forward to meeting them one by one eventually, so.
Absolutely, man.
Looking forward to
it. I love it, man. And to what you're saying before, I like to kind of remind people and really put this out there, but we are a community. So no matter how big or small or known or unknown someone is, for my show and for me to be friends with, like to communicate with me, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. I want to just get to know people who have taken the time to want to get to know me, who have reached out to me. You reached out to me we just started talking, and everything was just natural. Like, you're a good dude. Like, we like the same stuff. Like, boom, that's all. That's it. It's like, all right, you're like, there's no other qualifications. To be on a show like my own. So, anybody even watching now, I just want to have people that are part of this community, coming on board here, being on Origins, to just get that opportunity to get to know certain individuals who might not have the opportunity otherwise, or might not have certain platforms otherwise. So, like, it's just, I'm glad to have you on, and you are just as big as the next person, to come on this show. And so I appreciate you, brother. I really do, man. And I love what you're doing. Absolutely, man. And I'm hoping your Knicks do a little better next year. I'll be there to support. I wanted to say thanks to everybody too. We've had about 22 people hanging out throughout this whole thing. Everybody's just been a great chat. It's been a great chat. Definitely have to go back through, try to light up everybody. As I was going through, some people had some really good things to say, some really funny things to say, and just some really supportive things to say about you, Anthony. So
thanks.
Thank you, everyone. A lot of love. BLCs still Anthony who exactly Sheena showing some love. So again, if you guys are not following, if you're not subbed up to Anthony, please do so, and not only sub him up or follow him, but reach out to Anthony. I mean, I encourage everybody. Everybody should be reaching out to everybody, just DMing them, communicate. If Anthony posts some really cool Avengers book and you think it's cool, tell him you think it's cool. Like, and that's how it starts the conversation. So I love connecting, cool people with other cool people. So I'm glad that, again, that you took the time to be on the show, man. I really do appreciate it. I can't wait to go back and watch this rerun with the dogs and everything. We started probably a good 25 minutes late because of that. So that's why we're going a little extra innings here.
It'll make this a very unique show in the future. That's for sure.
Yeah. Dude, one of a kind, man. One of a kind. That's for sure. Burrito said, wait, Justin, you told me we couldn't talk until I got 1.5k IG followers. Yeah, exactly. Burrito, that's the other threshold. You gotta at least be, have a certain IG amount of followers. Yeah. No, just kidding. But Anthony, you are killing it over on Instagram, man. Where are you at right now with numbers?
It's funny. I hit 1,000.
You did, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, I did hit 1,000, but it's been rough just getting to 1,100. It's like it stopped, and but that's all right. Because I've been putting more, like pushing myself more on YouTube. And I'm just posting stuff here and there on Instagram. I need to once I get myself going on YouTube, I'll bounce it out a little bit more. And I know that eventually I'll start hitting the road again on IG on my way to 1,500. So.
Yeah, man, it definitely comes in waves, and I think as long as you don't get too caught up in the numbers, they just come naturally. And next thing you know, like you said, you were like, I was just hoping to get like 100, and next thing you know, you got 1,000. Right. So at the
beginning, I was into the numbers, but then once I knew that I was going to get to 1,000 eventually, right. So to me, it's mostly about just posting stuff for the community to see, and just looking at the feedback.
Yeah, being you, just be you and have fun doing it. People want to see that. So, there's Ages of Alaska right there. Comics of Alaska. Hey. Lou and Amy, we were just talking about them earlier. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Let's see. BLC said, I'm reaching out to Anthony earlier. You owe me $20.
Dude, man, if that's the case, you owe me $50. I can use the money.
Fable saying, you're just living the dream, Anthony. Just living the dream, brother. Yeah.
Thanks,
love this. Everybody, if you're new here, make sure you sub up. If you guys are not following Anthony, I put all the information in the description below. If you're watching the replay right now, thank you so much for taking that time to watch the replay. And of course, hit that like button on your way out. Appreciate everybody who has stopped in. Yeah.
One more thing. On Monday, I'll be on with Steve and Eric with the Fanime, Fanime Talk. I think this is gonna be about 8:30. Yep. So if you want to check us out, we're gonna be talking about Naruto. So not only do we talk about comics, but I'm also into anime and Japanimation. So it'll be a cool time. Come check us out.
Hell yeah. Good call there. Team Nerd Herd's information's in the description too, so you can definitely, if you're not following them. But Anthony, I will definitely be there for that for sure. I like checking out that show. And they're just having a good time over there, man. So I know you'll have a good time. Again, Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time to be on with me here. Everybody here in the chat, we appreciate you so much. I'll be back on What is I won't be on next week. I'm actually going to be spending some time with my dad during the weekend next weekend.
Nice.
So he's coming up to Baltimore. So I will be off next weekend, but then I'll be back again, and I'll be interviewing Moonlit Comics the following Saturday. So looking forward to that for the next comic.
Oh, I'll definitely want to check that out.
So yeah, she's been killing it. I just got to hang out with her last week. Terrificon, Michelle. She's a great person. So looking forward to that. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. So everybody have a great weekend. Happy Saturday, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.